It's not breaking news that Nigeria sits well on the table as a country with the second highest number of out-of-school children globally. But beyond having that data, one man is doing his bit to address the challenge. He's taking his efforts beyond Nigeria to also attend to children across the African continent. On this edition, we bring you the story of Otto Orondaam, the founder of Slum to School. I'm Susan Ilian. Welcome to Amazing Africans. Venice in Italy truly looks beautiful. So is Ishburg in Amsterdam, the capital city and the principal commercial and financial center of the Netherlands. These are the cities built on water. Some cities are not as naturally endowed with oceanic magnificence, but for their love for it, have to build artificial cities of water themselves, such as the case of the Palm Islands in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Khazar in Azerbaijan, amongst a long list. Maybe someday, Makoko in Lagos State would look like one of these cities, basking in aquatic splendor. But for now, it is home to fishermen who boast of having lived here all their lives. Playtime in this slum is fun time. So is work time. Everyone is involved, children inclusive. It's a busy day in Makoko. It's usually so. Residents, if not on the sea, then on the streets, or then in the market, where all catch are sold. In that busy atmosphere, children fit themselves somewhere, most of them playing the hours away till they are grown enough to possibly hold the community themselves.
Just identify you guys so that you can talk.
That idleness roused more than just concern in Orondaam Otto.
My name is Otto. I'm the founder and executive director of Slum to School Africa. It's an organization, a leading volunteer-driven developmental organization that works in ensuring that underserved children and young people across the African continent are given, all the opportunities and various supports to enable them maximize their potential.
It's been a while since the initiative launched out, but to the visionary, who was 25 years old when he caught the vision, it still feels green. Matter of fact, Otto pulled out of his bank to face an uncertain journey, for which all he was armed with was his vision and a determination to bring it to life.
I left my job in the bank, and 3 months later, I pulled about 100 friends together to raise about ₦1 million through crowdfunding using our BlackBerry phones back then in 2012. We raised funds and we got 114 children into school for the first time. We never thought it was possible because people told us it wasn't possible. We should go get a job because we were still very young. But 114 children were enrolled into school in 2012. Today, over 50% of them are out of secondary school. And we have gone farther than that to support over 107,000 children across 45 communities in Nigeria.
What began with a target to recruit 1,000 children from the slums to schools has had that objective changed a couple of times, from 1,000 at the start to 10,000. More than 100,000 children are said to have benefited, and so the target has shifted again, this time to 550,000 children.
When we started in 2012, it started as my National Youth Service Community Service Program. And I went into one of the communities here in Lagos, which is very popular, the community we all call Makoko. And I saw thousands of young children who were not in school. It was very interesting because I saw tons of potentials in these young people. I engaged them every week,
for multiple weeks. I became almost part of their community. We provided food and clothes and medical support for them in so many ways, but something was missing, and that was education. And after over 3 months, it dawned on me that no matter how much we try to engage those children and support them, if we don't give them education, we would probably teach them, give them fish without teaching them how to fish. And we needed something that was sustainable, and that was where the idea, or that was how Slum to School was birthed.
Yeah, to smoothen a road, a wood.
There are 4 primary schools within this premises in Makoko, and each is a beneficiary, being learning centers.
Diagram of what yes or no? Yes, sir. So we also have another one we call a divider. Yes or no? Yes, sir.
While some take advantage of the learning centers, which run in various communities in Lagos State and across the country, some older students are taken through training in STEM. That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Firstly, I think every developed nation or every developing nation understands the importance of science, technology, engineering, and maths. Science practically involves everything we do around our world, from the solar systems, the planetary bodies, to, the underwater bodies. Everything involves science. Technology involves everything around us, from the bridges to the roads to the technology you have, the cameras and all of that. Mathematics, all careers have a bit of mathematics in it. For countries like us to realize that with STEM, we could become fast, we could become more developed. Our nations could be, it could affect our economy positively. It could build our children to be more economically stable and their families. And for us, we understand the importance of this. We understand that most of our children come from communities where they are naturally in a creative environment. They have lots of resources around their communities. Most times we could see these resources as wastes, but you find them being very creative with all the little they have. And so we realize that if we give them the opportunities that most of the children who are in most of the developed parts of the world have, it's going to help them build their confidence and also give them an opportunity to be, more inclined in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematical, careers.
To beneficiary students, the experience has been novel.
This facility has helped me in several ways. It has helped me to create. It has helped me to think outside the box. And it has also helped me to be an outstanding student.
Slum to School has made a lot of opportunity here by allowing me to know how to operate the computer and how to type and how to write letter on the system.
The STEM Center and Innovation Lab have really make a great impact in my life. It has exposed me to various technology aspects. It has enlightened my life to know more about technologies and computers and science stuff and robotics.
This place is not what we see every day, what is in our community now, and gave us an opportunity to be better than those in the community, because we have the opportunity to operate the computer and type on it and do whatever we want on the computer.
Apart from the desire to contribute to making his country great, another motivation behind Slum to School is Otto's concern over what becomes of Nigeria's youth population years down the line. This is considering that Nigeria is projected to have a population of over 400 million people by 2050, making it the 3rd most populous country in the world.
In 30 years, we are going to be the 3rd most populous nation in the world with over 400 million people. It means in 30 years, we're going to give birth to almost 100 to 200 million new young people. And when we look at the demographic of young people by 2050, we're going to have over 80% of our population below the age of 25. Now, there's no nation that has such potential across the world. And it means that whilst we say the United States is the center of innovations and technology, and China is the center of manufacturing and production, we have a whole lot around the world, or several countries with great potential. Nigeria could actually be the center of quality human resource if we are intentional in building this potential of young people. And I think it begins with investing in education. We need to be very intentional about investing in the education of our country. For the past years, our education budget has been one of the poorest in the world.
The journey, of course, wasn't a solo race as much as it's been a synergy, alongside other volunteers, most of whom are young minds. Bumi is one of the young minds who have found fulfillment in helping others redirect towards being a better version of themselves.
And I came in the morning, taught them how to brush their teeth, how to wash their clothes, and it was like I felt like I did something I've never done before. And when you go back home and you're just smiling and you're so happy, and I think I felt that way, and I was like, oh, I'll go back again. Then the next time I went into the community, we went in the afternoon and we came out like in the evening. There was so many, maybe before I would have complained, oh, I don't have these nice shoes, I don't have this. I saw that the new me didn't care about all of those things anymore, because I saw people living in a very small house and they were so happy. They were like the most happy people I've ever met, I've never come across. And that changed my narrative about life. So right now, it's more like I hardly worry about things that I can't afford. So it changed my perspective and my narrative. Like more or less like my journey in life had been different from how I envisioned it to be, basically.
With about 20 million children not in schools, Nigeria ranks highest globally of countries with out-of-school children. Happy children, aren't they? Possibly trying to recover their lost playtime. Finally, life is back to school, and there's no need over flogging the matter. Not when compared to how things were when the world was hit by COVID-19. Empty playground, empty classrooms, in fact, empty schools, and for a long time, empty streets across Nigeria, and of course, across the world. Many schools quickly devised novel means of dealing with the new challenge. Pretty soon, many parents turned teachers as they needed to be available to provide support for their wards who have assignments from their virtual schoolwork. But this option will appear as a luxury to some children when one considers how much is invested into making it work. Data is not cheap in Nigeria. Electricity is also not cheap. And every now and then, there's a hike in price of the commodity that's not so reliable. And another challenge is the device.
I'm so excited to see you all this morning. How are you doing? Samuel, good to see you. Sisiano Melawako.
Then comes Slum to School to the rescue, providing online classes to their students. This includes the provision of all the materials needed. That intervention would be Nigeria's first experience of a virtual classroom.
How have your mentors been treating you, your teachers, and of course your devices? How are they? Oh yeah, Bukola, tell me.
From their different locations, everyone hooks up to school.
That's why I wanted us to get the
It's been 10 years that the outreach officially set out. There have been a number of changes in mode of operations. Targets, number of beneficiaries, and volunteers. But the decision to help children out of school still feels strong.
For us, we primarily work with disadvantaged children in communities, amazing kids who come from some of the most underdeveloped communities across the country. And one of the things we realized was that these kids are naturally talented. Most of them are very innovative. You see kids who have little or nothing, but getting a whole lot from trash and bringing out something out of it. You see kids who haven't had access to some of the facilities and infrastructure that kids in more developed parts of the country have, but they are being able to do a whole lot with what they have. And so we realized that if we give these kids that same opportunity, and make it exciting for them.
Slum too?
At the commissioning of the window on America in Nigeria, on the premises of the Innovation Hub of the Slum to School in Lagos, the United States Ambassador to Nigeria commits to a partnership to make Slum to School achieve its purpose of providing education, particularly for Nigeria's young population.
I was told to do this. It's all about
It's been 10 years that the outreach officially set out, and there have been a number of changes in mode of operations, targets, number of beneficiaries, and volunteers. But the decision to help children out of school still feels strong.
We currently have 6 American spaces in southern Nigeria, and today we're happy to be opening the very first Windows on America in space in southern Nigeria here today. In the next few months, we will follow on with 7 additional new windows on America in southern Nigeria, but we won't forget the north. We will get them there too. This window will serve as a community center where young people develop their ideas as well as their leadership and entrepreneurship skills through programs and workshops designed especially for them. For those who might be interested in studying in the United States, there are resources at the space that will help you figure out the path to study at a U.S. university. And I hope that people will take advantage of this free service at this Window on America, which is your place, the community's place for engagement, for education, and empowerment.
More partnerships, this time from the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF. UNICEF is expressing worry over the high number of out-of-school children in Nigeria.
We at UNICEF are partnering Slum to School, and we hope that in this partnership we'll be able to access 550,000 children through the work that Slum to School are able to do to expand that learning for children, whether they're out of school, in school, or part of the digital divide, or on the other side of the digital divide, making learning more accessible to children wherever they are.
Every day, the support base boosts, and it's not unexpected. It's a result of years of commitment. That's the record of someone who knew how it all started.
I think he was coming in, and I was going out, and I stopped, and I said, "Who are you?" And he introduced himself. But when I say, "Who are you?" I'm not asking for what is your name. So I dug deeper, because once you say your name and you say 1 or 2 things, it gives me an opportunity to really dig deep. And I dug deep, and I found out about Slum to School. And as he told me about his passion, he had just started. I'm not sure even if he had named it. So I now said, "Come and see me in Lagos. Let's talk." And he came, and we talked. And as he spoke, I knew, because I was then in education reform at that time, doing work with Ministry of Education and working on educational initiatives. I knew, and don't ask me how, that Slum to School, even though it was still a seed, carried the solution for out-of-school children. And at that point in time, there were about 10 million. It grew to 13 million. I hear it's now 6 million. I'm sorry, I don't believe that figure. There's no way that figure can drop during a pandemic. It's just not possible when schools were closed. So let's just assume they're around 10 to 13 million. I could tell that the process that they were using, the policies they had put in place, the way they worked, the way they use volunteers in communities, the way they look after the children, not just to say, let's put them in school, which a lot of NGOs do. They just put them in school, and many of them walk away. Slum to School stays with the child and nurtures that child through coaching, mentoring, teaching, nurtures that child all the way to secondary school and as far as they want to go. So I see that seed of greatness that I saw in him was the same greatness that I saw in Slum to School.
Laudable, it's such a great thing. And there was a speech he talked about how, this is what is going to sustain Nigeria. Because honestly, we're sitting on a ticking time bomb. And unless something is done about educating the children of this world or of this country, we're in trouble, right? And as I keep on saying, well, you heard we've been friends for 59 years. You don't want to know how old we are, right? So what I'm saying is that the truth of the matter is we've created this mess and we're all going to step out soon. And this country is yours for you to decide whether you are going to fix it for your kids or whether you are going to just fall into the hole we created. And I say that honestly when I say we, because our generation really did fail this country. Because the generation before us is still there. I don't know what happened to us. So I'm just saying that, so this thing you're doing, it's for yourself as much as it is for the kids, right? And it can only be done selflessly, because there's nothing that can pay you for what you are doing, and there's nothing that can pay for the impact, that can quantify the impact that you people are making in this country.
Ruth was the head of operations at Slum to School. That was her role after years of volunteering.
I did my research, and you can tell the quality of a program or the quality of a setup by the people who run them. So I did my research on the people who were leaders in the organization. I went through every material I could find about team leads online, from social media posts to their workplaces. I understood their values as individuals, as people, not people working with Slum to School or volunteering with Slum to School, but I understood their values as individual people. I understood their expression, whether in the workplace, whether in the marketplace, their perception about life and their understanding about a vision. I was able to get that from everything they have put out online, and it was easy for me to align with them. I volunteered for a couple of months before I met the entire team physically, but before I met the team physically, we're already like family.
If anyone would have faced challenges getting access to proper formal education, Abiodun would have. To make up for lost time, he goes fishing.
When I grow up, I like to be a lawyer. That's why I'm reading my book.
It's a long day. But just how many fish would he need to catch to meet his own needs, now and later? Thankfully, he's covered in the Slum to School program.
When I was in school, I never knew that there's a disability where some people see words and it dances, and it's not, that they can't put figures together. I never knew till I joined Slum to School, because I had to keep researching how can I teach children with language barriers, children that don't understand my language, So you find yourself going further to research. I did a course one time on understanding vulnerable children. So, you see yourself wanting to be better for them.
Slum to School also exposes beneficiaries to their Early Childhood Development Center and Enterprise Development Center. Beneficiaries also get mentorship programs. Hailing from Port Harcourt River State Capital, Orondaam Otto gave up a dream job of medical practice and a banking job to save Nigeria's future leaders.
Of any African that you feel deserves to be celebrated? Let us know and share with us how this episode appealed to you by using the addresses showing on your screen. Until the next time, I'm Susan Ilian. Plus, look out for the next amazing African.